Today is homemade gift day, and I'm going to be showcasing for you how to make homemade Shea style butter, whipped butter for your body. Better whipped butter for your body, healthier whipped butter for your body. I'm going to be showcasing the very pure organic ingredients that I use to simply make Shea butter. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to the holidays and gift giving, especially for certain people, we've reached a certain age where we don't need anything else. So I like to give gifts that are truly heartfelt, that are healthy, that I've put time and love and energy into, and it's going to be appreciated, used up, and done. So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. Now, my Shea butter recipe calls for an even split of a couple different ingredients, and you can mix these up a little and you can leave out certain ingredients. The key is to basically even it up. So I like to use a little bit of beeswax. I'm using these ramekins so that you can see it's basically equal proportions. I like to use this white beeswax to put a little bit of natural wax into it. I also use organic coconut oil. So I have my coconut oil measured out. Certified organic cocoa butter, same thing. It's chopped. It's about the same, as you can see. And then my organic unrefined Shea butter. I call it my Shea butter, my blended Shea butter, because most people know what that means. And then the final piece of it is adding in another oil of your choice. I use almond oil. You know me, I like to store everything in glass jars. This came in a plastic jar, so I can put it in here, but this is almond oil in here that I will be adding. So the basic stages of creating this, it's very, very simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. The basic thing is to take those equal parts, and then I'm going to, on a very low temperature, I'm just going to melt these in a pan. So it's melt completely, and then cool, and then whip or blend, and then add in arrowroot powder, which is what thickens it. And then you kind of can play around with it and get it to the exact consistency that you want. I have not perfected the exact amount with this. Maybe we will on this particular video. And then if you'd like to add essential oil fragrances, feel free. Lavender is a great one. Eucalyptus, if you want to kind of make it spa-like. Vanilla. There's a lot of great scents out there. Rose. I typically don't scent mine when I'm giving them as gifts, just because I don't always know the person's preference. So we're going to put these in the pan and melt them. That's the next step. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn this on very low heat, very low. I'm actually going to put it right almost at simmer, and then I'm going to add in the ingredients. So I'm going to put my beeswax in first, which I like to make sure that this gets completely melted. The first time I tried to work with beeswax, I didn't do so well. It didn't melt fully, and so then I had little pellets in my Shea butter. So make sure you get that melted, which you'll see. Then I'm going to add in my coconut oil, my cocoa butter, which I just put it in there to kind of make sure it was roughly the same amount. Shea butter, and then my almond oil. Although it's already melted, but I want it to blend in there good with it. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfected. The measurements don't have to be completely equal, because as you'll see, as it blends together, that's one of the things I love about this, is it can be imperfect. And now I'm just going to allow that to simmer and melt, and then we'll come back, we'll cool it, and then we'll blend it. While that's melting, we can talk about the jars that you can use. Now, I love to use glass. I'm particular about glass, and you can order these off of Amazon. Or if you're in a bigger city, you can often find stores that sell jars, container stores, different things like that. So I use these amber colored ones. I've also used the dark blue, which I really like. Or you can get a little fancier with these, fun little lids. You can put them in that. Or if you have a desire, you can use just these ball canning type jars, the smaller ones. They're kind of pretty. You can put it in that. So it's really whatever you want. Just begin to collect those. If you go to thrift stores, consignment stores, garage sales, put a little note in your phone and be looking for those things all throughout the year as you're out shopping. One other thing worth noting, I make this in big batches and then I will put it into these jars and then I just simply place it in the refrigerator to store it while I'm using it all up. And it'll last for quite a long time with no preservatives. And that's one of the things that I love about this is it's very natural, it's very satisfying and soothing to your skin, and you're not putting any extra chemicals on your skin. And I always make sure that my gift recipients know that. And now we have this lovely liquid that's completely melted. And now I'm going to simply pour it into my mixing bowl. So the liquid is in the mixing bowl. And let me just tell you, this is one of the times of the year that I absolutely love my KitchenAid. It's kind of a joke because I asked my husband for it one year for Christmas. And he was mortified and basically said, I can't get you a KitchenAid for Christmas because that would be like getting you a vacuum cleaner and what would everybody say? And I said, I don't care what everybody says. This is what I want. I love to cook. You love to eat. How about we make ourselves both happy and you can get me the KitchenAid and I won't tell any of our friends. Although I broke my promise because I did tell my friends who of course loved the idea because they love to cook, most of them, and wanted a KitchenAid too. And now we're just simply going to put the cooling product in the refrigerator and let it cool for about 30 minutes to an hour. You don't want it to get completely hardened again, but you want it to where you can easily begin to mix it. So 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, 1 hour later, this is the consistency of the Shea butter. So now we're simply going to put it on the KitchenAid and let it start whipping. So I keep checking it. I'm going to roughly allow it anywhere from 10 minutes to 15 minutes. It takes a little bit of time, but you'll begin to see the process. So I've got it on low. I'm going to speed it up here, and then I'll be back to show you more. This is what it's going to begin to look like in there. And what I like to do is stop it every couple of minutes and just use the spatula to even it out, push it all back down in there, and then keep going because it will build kind of a well down in there and you want it to get whipped all together really good. But you can see why you want to melt all of it. You melt all of those oils together so that they're very well blended and then they solidify and then it'll begin to blend some more. One other thing that's important to note is pay attention because on the high speed, your KitchenAid will begin to move close to the edge of your counter. So be very careful of that. Okay, it has whipped and blended for about 10 minutes. And now is when we're going to add our arrowroot powder. I order a gluten-free, non-GMO raw powder brand. Kate Naturals is the brand on Amazon. And it's basically for thickening and making it a little less greasy. So what you'll want to do, of course, is, just kind of determine for yourself how you like it. I like mine a little bit thicker. This is kind of thin, but that's literally what I do is I just kind of play around with it. And now I'm just going to blend in about 2 teaspoons. That's what I start with. I'm not super accurate. I use this long teaspoon. I'm going to put one in there, little heaping, and then a second one in there. And then I'm going to blend it for about another minute. After that minute, I stop it, and again, I check the consistency. It's still just a little bit runnier than I like it, so I'm going to add another teaspoon in, blend it again, and then it will begin to solidify as it settles and sets up. All right, here is our finished product. Notice how beautifully white it is now turned. It was kind of yellow when we got it all melted down, and the first time that I ever made it, I thought, ooh, it's going to look ugly, but it looks lovely, nice and whipped. And so now our next step is just to pour it into our containers. And as I mentioned, I will put it in these containers, and then I will put it in the fridge and let it set up. Then I get it back out. And I use what I'm going to use each time. I'll get these ready, put a fun little gift tag on them for giving them as a gift. And that's the magic of making homemade whipped shea butter and giving it as a gift.
And let me just show you the shea butter finished product. Here it is, right here, creamy and delightful. And your gift recipients are absolutely going to love this.
Make sure you grab my guide, lowertoxiclife.com, for this and other recipes. I'm Jackie Elmer. Please subscribe to the channel, share this for anyone who you think may benefit from it, and leave me a comment for anything else that you'd like to see on video and any suggestions that you have for the rest of us. Happy holidays!